Am I the asshole for letting my mother have a copy of the key to our new home despite my wife's objection? Situation. I, am 34, recently bought a one-story house. Note that it was purchased solely by me. My wife did not help save for it. I started saving for it before I even met here, and it's in my name. When my parents threw us a party for this happy occasion, Mom asked for a copy of the key in case of an emergency. I let her have it, which made my wife upset. She didn't say anything at the time, but she waited till we were alone and started arguing with me, saying I shouldn't have let my mother have a copy of the key. I said, why? Since my mother is known to respect privacy and is a very trusted member in the family. She said that she does not feel comfortable with the idea of someone else, who's not a resident, to have a copy of the key. She also brought up how my mother didn't pay a penny towards the house, so this should disqualify her from getting the key. I said it was not a big deal, but she kept persisting, saying I need to take the key back. Quite frankly, this had me fuming. I pointed out that I'm the one who bought the house and it's my decision to decide who gets to have a copy of the key, end of story. She screamed at me, saying that, technically, she did contribute towards the house savings back when she used to pay for our rent and daily expenses while I saved money. I told her that she was acting as if I put my mom's name on the title, which is ridiculous, but she said that I have no respect for her opinions and keep undermining her input. We've been going back and forth on it since then. She's now letting me know that if I don't take the key back, then she'll do it herself. I think she's being irrational and unreasonable, acting like that over a copy of the house key. This decision I made could save us in case of an emergency, but she kept downplaying it. I think it's crucial to mention that there's no conflict between my mother and my wife. They're on near perfect terms, alright? I thought that I've already established that above. You are the asshole. And that is why you can't trust no one when it comes to money. You played your wife. You probably told her you would save for a shared home, and that's why she should support you and pay your share of the rent. Now, she didn't contribute a penny to your house. Your house. She gets no say. But you, mom, does. Lol. You are the asshole. You are an a-hole. YTA. She paid all your expenses while you saved, and she's not even on the title to the house? She's right, she did contribute. Info. If she paid all the rent while you were saving, why isn't her name on the deed? Am I the asshole for asking for a morning off from my baby on the weekends? My wife and I have a 6-month-old baby girl. She's mostly a SOM, she works 2 half-days a week and her sister watches the baby. I work full-time and go to school 1 day a week. We've always had an arrangement where she takes care of the household duties, cooking, cleaning, and now baby care, while I happily support her monetarily. Honestly, we are both living our dream life, and my wife does an absolutely spectacular job taking care of me and our little one. On the weekends, we share baby duty. We usually make sure each of us gets our own alone time to do whatever we want. However, our girl has hit a bit of a sleep regression, waking up every 2 hours since my wife breastfeeds. She's always taken care of the baby full-time overnight. She's a light sleeper and unfortunately has insomnia, whereas I am a deep sleeper and wouldn't wake up for baby cries anyways. Recently my wife has been asking me to wake up with the baby both days on the weekend so she can get an extra hour of sleep. Baby wakes up around 7 a.m. I get the baby dressed and take over for that hour. But sometimes, I want to be the one that gets to sleep in an extra hour. I brought this up to her and she says while she's happy to let me nap during the day, she really needs that hour because she can't nap like I can. We got into an argument about it, and she said I'm being very insensitive when I know she is very exhausted and can't nap during the day, and she struggles going back to sleep every time the baby wakes up. But I'm exhausted too. Work wears me out, and school days are long. And I sometimes want the hour in the morning. I don't want to spend my off time napping. I want to play video games and chill out. I've gotten mixed opinions on who is in the wrong here, or if there even is anyone in the wrong. Am I the asshole for asking us to share mornings off for sleep? You are the asshole. If she's taking all the night duty because you don't wake up, then you get the morning duty when you do wake up so she can catch up on her lost sleep in the night. You want a morning off, give her a night off. You are the asshole. You don't think she wants to just chill out and do something on her own time? She's working too by not just going to work, but also taking care of the baby. The least you could do is give her some time to sleep in. She's right. You can nap and do whatever, she can't. And unless you're going to offer to take over the feeding through formula, the only time she gets a break is if baby is sleeping or she's off to work. Give up your extra hour of sleep. Give it to your wife, who does so much. Am I the asshole for expecting my girlfriend to cancel her plans for me? My girlfriend is super into hiking and we planned a trip to Cali that involved a hike in the Grand Canyon she always wanted to do. We did a hike the day before that was too intense for me and I'm not as fit as her. I finished but I couldn't go the other hike, aka the dream hike of hers. It was also not meant to be done in one day and the rangers said it was hard to do in one day and not advised. She said she was confident she could do it, saying she had hiked harder and she is very fit, but I just felt like she was discounting what the rangers said. I said I wasn't going and she said she would go alone and I asked her to wait till tomorrow for me to recover. She said the weather report had a 30% chance of rain for tomorrow and that she wasn't going to give up on a bucket list hike, and if I still wanted to do it tomorrow she would do it again with me. I got mad because I felt like she was okay with abandoning me with nothing to do at her campsite and I didn't want to talk to her that evening, but she didn't seem to care and prepped for her hike. She finished it the next day and I feel like she didn't care that I was too tired to hike and chose to go without me. To me the people are more important than the activities, but to her she definitely wanted to finish the hike at all costs. You went on a trip to go on this specific hike, and only the day before realized you're not fit enough to go on said hike? And you really expected her to just abandon her dream now that it was right there in front of her? You are the asshole. You are the asshole. It's a bucket list hike for her and you should have prepped for it and made sure you were as fit as her before going on that trip. You don't get to tell her how important her hiking should be to her. You are the asshole for the way you worded everything. You didn't seem bothered about the danger of her going alone but are butthurt that she didn't cancel so you wouldn't be by yourself. Also, it sounds like you're just upset that she didn't give in when you were immature and refused to talk to her. Am I the asshole for calling the cops when my father lent out my car? My F32 father, 56, lives with me. After my mom passed away a few years ago, he had trouble dealing with life and I tried to help him out. I had a spare room and I said he could stay there. My siblings are I cleaned up my parents' house and we rented it out. With his 100% agreement. The money covers the mortgage and lets him contribute to my household budget for food and utilities. And he has a little money every month so he doesn't have to go into his savings or retirement funds. He could go back to work but he hasn't. I'm not a mental health professional but he won't go to one either. I think he is just depressed but I cannot make that diagnosis. I work from home and only occasionally meet clients for lunch or at their workplace. So my car usually sits for days on end. My father got the idea that I didn't really need a car for myself, and when my aunt's car broke down he started letting her borrow mine. Without my permission. I told him that if he wants to lend out a car he should lend out his. He drives a very nice full-size truck. He says that my aunt is uncomfortable driving it. I said that I didn't care and that I needed my vehicle to be available. He said that family helps family. I said my car was mine and not to be lent out. I spoke with my aunt and told her to stop asking for my car. He decided to test my patience. He trapped me in the garage with his truck and left the house one day that he knew I had a meeting. I had to Uber to the meeting. I was almost late. I was absolutely livid. When I got home his car was still there but my car was gone. My aunt had needed it for appointments. I told him that it's time for him to move out. He isn't just inconveniencing me now. He is actively sabotaging my job. He cried that he was sorry and wouldn't do it again. I gave him one last chance. There were no problems until yesterday. He lent out my car so my aunt could visit her kid. He had a key made. I saw that my car was missing and I did not even ask. I called and reported it stolen. My car has a tracker in it because it's not paid off. It was easy to find. I, in the meantime, had turned off my phone and gone shopping. I was unavailable when everyone started calling me to tell the cops that my aunt has my permission to take my car. I feel bad for wasting the cops' time and my family says my aunt was traumatized. My dad is moving in with her now. I did drop the charges and clear everything up. But my family is still mad at me. I am mostly mad at my father but my aunt bore the brunt. What sticks out to me is you did ask your aunt to quit borrowing the car. She was not innocent in this. I hope she and your dad finally learn to respect you and your right to control your own property. Not the asshole. You didn't waste the cops' time. Your car was literally stolen. Just because it was stolen from someone you know doesn't mean it wasn't stolen. You specifically told them both to stop taking the car. I wouldn't have dropped the charges, and I would have evicted father, but I've got no problem getting toxic people out of my life. Sit them both down and tell them that if they ever do this again, You won't drop the charges and you will evict him. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You made it abundantly clear that you needed the car. It wasn't his to loan. You ignored calls to confirm your aunt had your permission to borrow the car, but that's not true. She didn't.